106 miles to Chicago.
Welcome to Costco.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Say hello to my little friend.
Ever dance with the devil in the bedroom?
I'll buy that for $1.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Get to the shovel! There's no flying in baseball!
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
To infinity and beyond!
I wish I knew how to quit these dead people.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
It should be Riddick. Escape convict.
There's Johnny!
Murder.
You tell him I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Why so serious?
Don't you like clowns?
Bleed my own blood.
But the English language had deteriorated into a hybrid of hillbilly, valley girl, inner city slang, and various grunts.
Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
I know he can't even hear me.
So, if somebody says, like, quit playing with yourself and you're wearing that shirt, can you just tell them that you're wearing a Game Boy shirt and you're pretending you were playing Mario?
Oh, I'm playing Mario, all right. Mario is the nickname for my creamy girl.
Is that why the little Koopa Troopers look like little mushroom heads? Because you're just bashing the mushroom head. Oh, Keith's calling. Hold on. Let's see what we got.
2,000 years later, 6.5 hours later, a few inches later, day 2, day 3, day 4, a few moments later, 1 eternity later, 3 days later, 12 seconds later, 3:28 a.m. 3 weeks later, many months later.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Tomorrow for sure. Eventually, 12 o'clock midnight. 1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, 2 hours later, 8:01 p.m. the next day.
Is he trying it on his phone, or?
Yeah, so he's on his...
Well, he said he was on his laptop, right?
Yeah. But he's having an issue getting the headphones to connect. Yeah.
Right.
With that, there's words and things to say.
Words.
Like, welcome to Pop Culture Kick.
Welcome to Pop Culture.
I'm Nick Zilla. That one on your guys' screen right there is the one who plays with himself.
Mark Becker.
He stomps those mushroom heads with his Game Boy.
Stomps mushrooms.
And the little green thing down there is Keith, who's having technical difficulties. Third week in a row, we've had some sort of a technical issue going on here.
Can't figure out how to use technology.
Nope. We got to get back into our technology talk, where we talk about technology.
Technology talk. We're going to make technology sexy again.
Bringing it to the masses.
Ooh, how many gigabytes is your hard?
Oh, I don't even think of gigabytes anymore. I'm on teraflops.
Teraflops. Flippity flaps.
All right.
So,
what you got, man? What you got going on?
Cocaine Bear is doing pretty good at the box office right now.
Did you see Funko made fucking toys of this bear?
No, I hadn't seen the Funko. That's funny though.
Oh, dude, they made Funko Pops of Cocaine Bear.
Does he have like a Coke stash? That's awesome.
Yeah, that movie looked pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it looks wild. I mean, it looks like it's a fun time. Like, these guys obviously aren't taking it seriously.
Dude,
as far as
look, he's literally, I don't know if you can see it, but he's literally eating a bag of cocaine out of a duffel bag.
Yeah, so actually, this movie is actually based on a real incident.
Yes.
Where a fucking a plane smuggling cocaine, like actually did like crash, and the pilot ended up dying, in real life. But then yeah, cocaine actually, or a bear actually did end up eating like a whole like kilo of
The
cocaine.
cocaine ate the
But
bear?
the cocaine ate the bear. I mean, basically, because like when the bear actually ate the cocaine, like it fucking died, like it overdosed. So it didn't go on a killing rampage like the one in the movie, but dude, I mean
But it
that's a
makes good
hilarious.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a hilarious premise. Like that's so cool,
Dude,
and I'm glad to see that it's doing well because it looks like for Friday it actually beat out uh Quantumania.
sweet. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that one in a minute. But yeah, I love fun movies, man, like that. And you know how there's always a third party, like someone else makes a knockoff movie straight to DVD and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what the one was for this that they're toting? That I've been seeing advertisements all over for now that this is in the theater?
No, like what, Meth Wolf or what?
Meth Gator.
Meth Gator.
They got two. They're going after Florida twice. We're known for our meth and our gators.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
No,
so like when I go on to like a lot of my horror sites and stuff, it's like Meth Gator now on streaming on demand.
dude, I mean, hey, honestly, you know, those knockoff like third party studios that end up doing stuff like that, they end up making money. Like they don't make as much money as like the big guys, right? Because Cocaine Bear was Universal
Yes.
Studios did that, but the people that made the knockoffs, like this fucking Meth Gator, like they're gonna make some money, little bit, like enough to fund the next project, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like there's a market. There's small markets. It's like Trauma Films, right? Trauma Films is not as widely known, as obviously like the big production studios, but there's a market for them. Like
Oh yeah.
they have a cult following. There's a very they're one of the most popular like underground
Yeah, you got them. You got
production
like
companies.
Asylum, and even A24. I would consider a smaller. Makes
Well,
horror movies.
A24, yeah, but they do get major distribution.
Yeah, but they've started out small and then worked their way
Yeah.
up. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, when I go to those horror conventions, like Texas Frightmare and stuff, there's tables that are just completely covered with nothing but these B-rated horror movies. I mean, people love them.
Yeah.
I love watching them. They're fun, dude. They're crazy.
Well, yeah, and usually you can buy the DVDs for like a couple dollars at like big lots, like Walmart and shit.
Yeah.
Well, in Walmart, not so much, but like the smaller kind of like
Ollie's and all those things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You can always get them for like or like the dollar stores, right? They'll sell like a lot of like dollar cheap DVDs and stuff like that, and they're usually like these
Oh yeah.
low budget knockoff. But that's the thing, like these knockoffs, especially like that. I mean, honestly, Cocaine Bear probably wasn't that much to produce as far as like the production cost.
Yeah. No, I think they're already in like the positives. Like.
Yeah, and it's even less for the knockoffs like Meth Gator. Uh, and they end up, even if they are selling like $1 per DVD or something like that, or they're getting like a small exhibition, 1-day exhibition from like a major theater chain, they're gonna make their money back. Like they have shoestring budgets. They, some of them probably spend less than 20 grand to produce, and then just, they can easily make that money back.
Heck yeah. So yeah, Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear,
Watch
yeah.
it.
I haven't seen it, but I was just like going through my feed this morning, and I saw that Cocaine Bear's been doing pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
Like looking at the numbers, it's made 8.6 million. Hasn't gotten an international release yet.
Okay.
So 8.6 million is just completely domestic box office. And that's just for Friday.
Europe's
so
gonna be like, Cocaine Bear? What
Bro.
the fuck are these Americans doing?
Well, it's gotten a wide distribution because it was released in 3,500 theaters.
Oh shit.
So that's
not
almost,
a small release.
That's almost all the theaters in the United States. There's like something like less than 5,000 theaters in the United States. So
San Antonio has like 200 of them.
Yeah. So it's gotten a wide release. So good on that. And yeah, I mean for a rated R film, non-serious rated R film, that's pretty damn good. Hopefully it does even better.
Yeah.
What do you got?
But did Avatar still make $1 million a day? Have they gone under yet? Now that we have Cocaine Bear and Ant-Man out.
Yeah, so it's still doing $1 million days. There have like a couple weeks ago, I think it did hit its first sub $1 million day.
Yeah, we talked about the one that first day it hit like was it 850,000 or something that day.
Yeah. But it's bouncing back. I mean, it's still. Let's see. Let me check the latest.
While you look that up, James Cameron.
Okay, so
there you go.
Friday 1.1 million, but obviously, I mean, and that's the other thing too. The sub $1 million days are typically like your Mondays and your Wednesdays and your Thursdays.
Well, people aren't going to the theaters
going to
too
get
much
as
anymore.
many moviegoers, and they're not going to be playing in as many.
No, some of my theaters don't even have it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
right now 20. So as of Friday, it was shown in 2,400, almost 2,500 theaters. Still made 1.1 million.
I don't remember who it was. If it was Hulu or Amazon. One of them has a documentary on where James Cameron goes back to figure out could Jack have survived? Like, was there a way? So they went to this they went to this
on the door.
Yeah, so they went to this institute that studies hypothermia and stuff, and they put these two people, a guy and a girl that were about the same size, in the same clothes, on an exact replica of the door. And they got them in the water where their body temperature was dropped, as far as they could safely, and then try to get them on that door to see if they could hold it. And it did. Finally, they found a way to do it, but they don't think with the stress and the, everything going on that it would have actually worked.
It wouldn't have held up for too long.
No, the key was to have him shaking from the cold, which would have helped.
Would have created friction.
Yeah. But with him, in the water, it was done.
No, hypothermia.
Yeah. They tested the whole theory of how the ship broke and fell. Like, he's like, did we get it accurate in the movie?
Yeah.
And he realized that he didn't. The way it would have gone would have been a little differently because they built scale models and went in, and now they have the technology to test these things a little further.
Yeah.
So he's like, we didn't get it accurate, but we got it where it looked better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's always a trade-off when it comes to cinema, right?
Yeah.
Is there's reality, and then there's cinematic.
Yeah, you got practicality or you got fucking entertaining.
Right. And that's what movies are. Movies
Exactly.
ultimately are entertainment. So they don't have to be perfectly accurate, right?
Yeah.
Movies like Expendables and John Wick and stuff like that, you don't have to show the protagonist fucking changing out every single magazine whenever they're, shooting, 1,000 rounds and all this stuff, right? They're not carrying the amount of ammo on them and all that.
100 pounds of ammo. Freaking.
But it would be less entertaining if you showed that. You know.
Well, I think it's cool too.
Implies.
Like bringing up John Wick, there's a lot of once he runs out of that mag, he's only got the one. He drops the gun and goes to a knife. That's cool that he go there. They have that detail, but you go watch like a Stallone or any of these other action movies.
Oh yeah, especially like in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sitting there firing their machine gun for 500 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. Like sustained machine gun fire.
Or a six shooter revolver that fires off 20 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's right. Like, and they've gotten better about it, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, the 80s was like, turn your brain off, don't even think about it. On how Arnold Schwarzenegger is able to, sustain fire from the hip, a minigun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Was it entertaining? Was it cinematic?
Hell yeah.
Very. Was it realistic? Not at all. But, it's fucking cool to see like this big, jacked Austrian guy just mow down an entire parking lot of cops and not kill a single one. Right? With a minigun. So, I mean, it's same thing with like these automatic like shotguns and stuff like that, like Terry Crews had in the Expendables.
Dum, 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 dum,
His AA-12.
Yeah.
It's cool, right? It's fun, it's entertaining. They love doing those films. I know they're working on another Expendables also.
Yep.
We should be getting on another one soon. And John Wick, I don't know if we talked about this last week. The new John Wick movie is going to be almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
For runtime, so it's going to be pretty hefty.
Some of those movies, man, it's just nonstop all the way through. You're exhausted by the time you get out of it.
Yeah. They get ridiculous, but
fuck it. I'm there for the fun, and I mean, you think about it, you're paying what, $10, $15 for. I mean, most movie tickets are like $12, $15 now. So for 2-3 hours of entertainment, that's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, the longer run time, you're definitely getting more bang for your buck, right?
Yep, exactly.
Especially when it's something like John Wick, Keanu Reeves. They're great films. Not entirely accurate, don't have to be, but they're a little bit better. Like, like you were talking about, like how, he runs out of this and he has to switch to this. The last one where he was like strategically placing, different types of guns and all that stuff in the tunnels and stuff. Like, that was a cool detail that they added there. Obviously, they didn't have to show that, but, it made it seem a little bit more realistic, but they don't have to get, hyper real or anything like that. Like, we don't have to see John Wick, taking a poo.
You have like a Santa Claus Harry Potter bag where he just keeps pulling guns out.
How does Felix
Accio bullets.
Felix the cat in his magical bag.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of nonsensical movies that were just kind of fun, did you watch Megan at all?
No, I didn't, but I did hear that it's getting a sequel.
Yeah, well, it is, but they also just released the unrated edition onto Peacock.
Yeah, I heard that it just came to streaming, right?
Yeah, they just dropped it on Peacock. So the movie originally, I believe, was filmed rated R, and then they went back in and made a PG-13 cut because that's what the distributor wanted. Yeah, which ended up working in their favor because it made a shitload of money, which instantly greenlit a sequel. But people wanted to see the unrated version, so the director dropped on demand on Blu-ray. And on streaming, the theatrical cut, if you want to watch the PG-13 version, or the unrated, which just has just a little bit more blood. Like, you actually see the, like a blade going in versus just the blood splatter of the effect. So
right. Yeah, and that's how you do it. That was like another trade-off when it came to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
Get the director's
R-rated
cut.
movies don't tend to make a whole lot of money in their theatrical release. So the way to get by that is to, get the rating for a wider audience, a PG-13 or something like that.
More people
so you can make more money.
Yeah.
And then, you can come out with a director's cut later, and release that
Exactly.
on DVD or streaming now. Everything's streaming now, but back in the day, we used to get director's cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've got like 8 different versions of fucking Blade Runner because there's all the different
Yeah,
director cuts of
the
Blade
same
Runner.
thing with like the Godfather
Exactly.
trilogy. There's like 3 or 4 different Godfather cuts.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. You got the PG-13 because that is the biggest market, right? You're going to make the most money as a PG-13 movie.
And look, and I don't, and I don't criticize that. You got to make the money how you make the money. You got to deliver it to the widest audience possible, make your money, and then, later on, like Ridley Scott, drop your fucking director's cut. And if, for the people for the diehard fans, for the people that really, really want to see it,
I wish
it's a vision. So take Chris Nolan,
Yeah.
Chris Nolan, Peter Jackson, right? Peter Jackson did
his extended cuts.
Lord of the Rings, like each one of them was like already 3 hours long, and then he had like another 3 hours.
And another 3 hours each movie.
4 hours per movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, not all the studios allow the directors to put in their version of the cut, right? We had that, with like the famous Snyder Cut version of Justice League.
Right. Yeah.
They fought that forever, and you have the Suicide Squad, right?
The fans really pushed it, right?
Yes.
Back in the day, back when I was still in the service after they canceled Firefly.
Yep.
There was a huge fan pushback.
Still is, man. They still ride that train.
Yeah. To bring that series back, or at least, in the very least, get a movie, right?
Which is where Serenity came from.
Same with
Joss
Whedon was listening to the people and listening to the fans of the show, and it, like, I know Serenity was like partially funded by fans too. Like, really wanted to see a resolution to what the show had set up.
Yeah. And
anything.
You had Skeet Ulrich's Jericho first season. They canceled it. The fans were so upset they came back with a second season, canceled it.
Yeah.
Family Guy's been canceled like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's still, now is like, I don't think they're ever going to cancel Family Guy again. They've learned that lesson. So.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's not as high quality as it was.
No.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean.
Even almost 20 years ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then, so, like, one of the director's cuts that I really, really, really wish we got to see, but Warner Brothers won't do it, is that David Ayer's version of Justice League, his cut of it. The darker, the whole movie's different. Right, because they went back in, and Warner Brothers is the one who forced all these cuts and these edits into it, which made it into the really unorganized movie we got, because it was a knee-jerk reaction to Guardians of the Galaxy and other stuff that had just come out.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, we need to put funny moments in it.
Yeah, and that's not the movie he made.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, so, and on the flip side of it, you've got... those gatekeepers that we are always annoyed of as fans that see the bigger picture, because they'll go in there and be like, oh, they're making this movie PG-13, they're ruining it, and then they end up, people don't go see it, because they're causing all this, negative, around it, and then you don't get more of it. It's like, well, hold on, man, you're complaining and you're gatekeeping of this and getting the media frenzy. They say, oh wait, we can get people to come to our site and click on our ads if we talk about how negative this movie is, and now people aren't going to see it, and then we don't get more of it, right? That happens with so many good franchises that
well, I mean, that partially happened with the DCU.
Yeah.
Once some of these movies, like once Justice League started bombing, Aquaman did okay, but realistically, in the grand scheme of everything, it didn't really do that great.
Yeah. And that was because it got more negative press than it did positive. you know, which really wasn't merited. It was just people complaining, you know, and then now that it's gone, those people that complained are like, oh, bring it back.
Right. Well, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you want to see more of your favorite superheroes and all that stuff, then you have to sit through the shitty movies.
You do.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because you want to demand more quality from the production studios, especially the major production studios,
yeah,
like Disney and Warner Brothers. They have the budget to make a good fucking movie, right? Ant-Man, Quantumania right now is hurting because of that.
Yep. I think it's getting the after effects of, was it Phase 4?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of still got that cheap feel to it. That hey, people were saying that it was lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Well, it's more of the same, right? Like
too
Ant-Man,
cookie cutter.
you know, Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man was kind of one of those, you know. Well, okay, so actually, no, we have a genre problem here too, right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do too many different genres in one movie, right? Because if you look at, like, if you go on a Box Office Mojo and you look at the genre, it's action, adventure, comedy, mystery, sci-fi, thriller. Like, that's... Right? Like, I mean, it has no identity, right? And, you know, that's gonna... And even Kevin Feige admitted, like, a couple weeks ago, that, you know, we're getting too many MCU series.
Yes.
And there's too much on the plate.
There is.
For that.
It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to end up being like the comic books, where now you just like... Because the comic books have that problem too, right? Where you have a story arc, but in order to finish the story arc, you got to go buy 18 other comics that are also connected to it and read those. But then you're missing stuff because you don't know what happened before that book. The shows are doing the same thing.
And only serious collectors like you know, are willing to spend the money to do that. You know, you have these huge crossover events in the comic books, and you know, and it's a financial and it's a time constraint for a lot of people, right? You're essentially pricing yourself out of the market when you're doing those things.
Yeah, like
there's always so much, especially casual readers and casual watchers, you know, casual audiences. They're not going to spend that much money.
Well, you got to think about the person on the budget, the kid that, you know, only has the $5 to buy the comic of the week, right? So if you've got like Batman comes out with this crossover of the Button, which is essentially like Flashpoint and Watchmen stuff, right? So you've got the Flashes in there, and in the next issue that comes out doesn't even mention anything about the shit that just happened in the issue before, and you realize that it's not part of that story arc. So now this kid has to go back, you know, or whoever, and go find.
He's got to get the Batman one.
You got to go get the Flash version, and then, you know, did Wonder Woman come in? Has she got a part in there? So now you got to go buy that. So now, you know, this kid's budget, you know, if he only gets, you know, $5 a week to go pick up on Wednesdays, pick up the new book, they have to be careful with all of that. And
then of course it gets confusing too, because then you have to know which title and issue number you have to read in order to actually like read it in chronological order.
Yep.
And I feel like
I've done that a few times.
And it's just like the movies, you know, it's just like the movies and the TV shows and all that stuff. Like, you know, we've been saying this for months now. Like, you're missing out on on all these details because you didn't watch the series that, you know, the mini series or whatever, and that introduced this character and introduced this arc that's finally paying off like 3 films down the line. And it's always this, You know, they're always setting up the next 3 films or whatever. They're always setting up everything instead of resolving stuff.
Yep.
You know.
Exactly.
And yeah,
and that's what this one was. It one of the quotes that I saw for Ant-Man was pretty much what we said the other, a week or two ago, was it went nowhere. Like you had all of this stuff. It didn't progress. There was no movement in the story. You brought story, but went nowhere with it. Like the movie didn't get you anywhere further. Like it just like took place over the course of a day type thing, So it's like, like where are you taking me on this? Like I get it, it's Ant-Man. Right. We're cashing in on Ant-Man, but.
Sure, but it's all just spectacle, and it's all just setting up.
The whole movie was to introduce Kang and then have the end credit scene. Like, that's it. Right. If you do that, just make little Disney shorts, for Disney Plus of just 15 minutes. Here's the history of Kang. Bam, done. You just saved yourself $100 million movie.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, I want to see it, but I'm not going to jump to the theaters to go see that one.
Right, yeah.
And I love the Ant-Man movies.
It comes out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I love the Ant-Man movies. The other two, but they were fun, but I'm not going to jump out to go see this one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I understand.
I'll wait for.
And that's the problem that theaters are having now, because everything, and I know we talked about this on a previous podcast too, but still have to reiterate this thing. They're not going to have as much box office sales when majors like Disney and WB are willing to just put it out on streaming
45 days later.
Yeah, 30 to 45 days later. People aren't going to waste their money by going to the theater when they could just stream it at home.
Yeah, you really do have that option now of, back in the day it was, well, I'll wait for it to come out on video, which could be 6 months later. Right? But now, you only have to wait a month. You're like, I could save, $50 and wait a month for that to come out on DVD or come out on streaming. And then
in the theaters, the movie theaters, they rely not just on the box office tickets, but mostly on concessions. That's how they keep the lights on. That's how they continue running.
I'll tell you what, if they want to do that, AMC, I'm looking at you. If you want us to buy concessions, you need to have fucking concessions. Because the last 4 times we've gone to the movies, everything's out.
Well, did we also talk about, I don't remember if we talked about it or not, but I think it was AMC that was thinking about doing a pilot program where Prime seats you pay different price for seats.
You have the Sheldon Cooper section of the movie theater, right, from Big Bang Theory. But it was only $1 or $2 more a ticket. Which I don't care, because we usually sit on the end anyway in the recliners. That way we don't have to walk past everybody
when you need to go pee.
Yeah, because I'm
in the middle of the film.
Yeah, exactly. So or I go fill up my popcorn again, because we usually eat all the popcorn before the credits are even fucking done. So
well, now they don't even get free refills for the popcorn sometimes. Now you have to fucking pay for refills.
Some theaters, dude. I was watching Final Destination the other day, and that part where the fucking van goes up,
the ambulance goes,
and all I can remember is you in the theater. The whole theater is silent. We're watching with shitloads of kids from school. We're all in school, high school, and we all go to see this movie.
Yeah, this is high school. This is
fucking theater's dead silent with this ambulance, and all of a sudden you just hear a wee. I look back and it's Mark.
It's fucking me. And the entire theater just fucking cracks.
Everyone's cracking up.
It's silent as fuck.
It broke the tension.
You can hear a fucking pin drop. And
I saw that scene the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit, I remember that."
Classic Becker.
Classic Becker. Anyway, we'll keep moving on, but Marvel do better, movie theaters do better. bring something to the theater I want to go see. Bring Avatar level stuff, right? Bring your big boy movies. But don't complain when we don't come see your small stuff.
And your Oscar bait too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we still want to see those.
Why the fuck didn't you guys keep The Whale in theaters longer? I would have gone to see that.
Yeah.
Instead, it played for a day.
I mean, as much hype as it had gotten in the film festival circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kevin Smith, when he drops his movies, they get limited releases, right? Because they're like, it's Kevin Smith, we're not going to do it. But then he ends up having to, they're like, yeah, it's one day only, showing of Clerks 3. But then it sells out and does so good, they end up having to keep booking days. Like,
of course.
Dragon Ball did that. Dragon Ball was for 3 days only, and it ended up being there for like a month and a half because it kept selling out. Like, why didn't you put the fucking Whale in there, man? Like, I would have gone and paid money to go see that in the theater just for, one, to help support that independent film and show people, but two, like, that was a good movie. Like, I haven't seen it yet, but like, I have a feeling that's going to be a good fucking movie. Like, I'm excited to watch it. I almost tried to watch it last night, but instead I watched Knock at the Cabin. M. Night Shyamalan.
That new one.
Yeah. That was good, dude. It's based on a book, so it's not your typical M. Night movie. I was waiting for it the whole time. I was like, all right, M. Night, what the fuck are you going to do here?
Twist,
yeah, but it was good. Good movie. Let's see. So what?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I know Dave Bautista was talking about, obviously he's not coming back to the MCU, like, right?
Yeah, he's all pissed off at Marvel. He's done with Marvel stuff.
Well, I mean, I get it. And, he wants to, showcase more of his dramatic actual, like,
dude,
acting.
he legit, like, in this movie was like, I was impressed. He showed a lot of empathy and sadness in his words as he was talking. Like, you could feel it as he was talking, the weight of what he was saying. We saw the trailer, right? We know
it's about, like, they have to sacrifice.
The family has to choose to sacrifice one of their own in order to save the world. Essentially, the four people that come are the four horsemen, right? And they all have different things.
Right.
So I won't get into a lot of the story, but as he's talking, everything is very respectful, very polite. He's like, I'm sorry for you for this, right? Everything was with empathy and emotion as he's talking about it. And
well, even in the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, his part that he had there was very well done.
Yeah, I mean, this was good. Trust me, it was impressive for to watch someone who's
the man is a legit actor.
Yes, yes, it was really good. He was my favorite part of that whole movie. Like, honestly, everything he said and everything he was doing was the best part of that movie. Other stuff, there really wasn't a whole lot of substance to the rest of it. But you kind of just, like, his character's name is Leonard. Like, talk some more, right? Because everything he said was just emotional. It was good. Batman 2 starts filming in November, or The Batman Part 2 starts filming in November.
Word.
Yeah.
Good.
What you got?
Good. That's about really all I had, other than rest in peace to legendary actor Richard Belzer. We lost him.
Oh yeah.
From Law and Order SVU.
Yep, I saw that.
Everybody has seen that show. Everybody knows.
I've never watched the show, but I know who he is.
Everybody knows the bum.
Yeah. I know the main actors. You got that. You had him. You had the ginger guy. I know the actors. I just don't know their names or never watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was a good part of the show.
Okay.
He's also a comedian. He's a really funny guy too. said he'd been on like Saturday Night Live a few times. But yeah, yeah. So rest in peace to him. I guess he died of complications to, it says, unspecified circulatory and respiratory issues.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I've got a few more things here.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy making all the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sold.
As they would.
It sold 12 million copies in its first 2 weeks.
Damn.
$850 million.
Damn.
Warner Brother, and it's Warner Brother Games, right? That's making it.
Yeah.
So, this game surprised the hell out of I mean, Jen and I are like 30 plus hours into this game each. Like, it's fun. Like, they literally recreated Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and everything around it, and you literally can just hop on a broom, fly around, and go fight a fucking troll.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open world, right?
Yep. Yeah, once you get through the story part that opens it up, yeah, you're running around everywhere.
I hear that's pretty early on in the story too.
Yeah.
Like where you can open up the entire.
Yeah, you don't get your broom until about 8 or 9 hours in, so a lot of it's on foot, but that's necessary to get you used to what's going on in the game.
Yeah, but I've seen some gameplay, and from what I've seen of the gameplay is like even like early on, you can still go to like extended parts of the map if you're.
Oh yeah, you just run there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome.
Despite all the people that were saying, "Hey,
the keyboard warriors,
this game, don't bullying all the streamers and all this stuff," it still made $850 million. So
all that just goes to show that no matter how much people want to complain, it's still gonna make all the money.
Right. No matter how much you tell people not to play a game or not to watch a movie or something like that, if they really want to do it, they're gonna do it.
Exactly. We talked about it before. Just because you want to go play the game doesn't mean you have to support what J.K. Rowling says on her own. Like, I'm here for Harry. I'm not here for her.
Right. Yeah, you're here for the wizarding world. You don't. I mean, look. Yeah, she, said some very scathing, like, transphobic things, and to me personally, I don't think that's right. These people are allowed to exist, just like anyone else.
Yeah,
and to be treated with dignity, just like everyone else.
It doesn't affect me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You identify what you want.
Yeah.
I don't lose sleep over it. Like,
I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy to.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I mean,
that's you. That's your life.
Give you the respect and dignity that you deserve because you're another human being, and
exactly.
And that's fine. And yeah, I mean,
how people get so uptight and so upset and all that stuff over that stuff. Yeah.
There's no reason to just boycott.
Yeah.
A piece of media.
It's like
a video game or something.
I was like all the people
just because the fucking creator, the original creator of the fucking thing, is a piece of shit.
Well, and it goes, honestly, like, I feel like, especially like when Black Lives Matter came out, right? You had, which was a big activist group for that group. Then you had all these people showing up, like, oh, we're angry for you. Oh, we're mad for you. We're gonna tell people don't go do this and don't go do that.
Don't go watch Black Panther if you're white, right? Like, but
you've got these like, Midwest old liberal white ladies telling you, you're bad if you go buy this, go buy that instead because it was made by, a person of color. And most of those people that they're defending don't want you doing that because that goes to show that you think that they can't make the argument and the stuff on their own, right? And that they need you to come protect them and save them.
Yeah, they have their own voice.
Yes.
So just listen.
Yeah. So, all you, gatekeeping people and all this stuff that are doing that, just like this game, like let's boycott it for all the trans community. Like, why don't you let the trans community talk about it? Because I tell you what, if they play the game, they're going to notice there's trans people in there, there's gay people in there. Like, they're probably playing the game because they are also fans of the Wizarding World, but because you guys are speaking louder than the group that you are trying to protect, nobody's hearing it. It always annoys the hell out of me when I see that shit. I'm like, come on, like, let's let them talk and tell me what they like or don't like. Like, why are you putting words in their mouth? Do you think they can't do it?
Because they want to be the heroes, right? They want to be the white knight.
They want to be the, the one that everyone, oh, they're so brave for stepping up. And it's like, no, man, come on. That's what gets people in trouble. That's what gets people all angry and upset. Like, who cares? Yeah. Let them be.
Let them speak for themselves. If they have a problem with it, then they will come out and say it.
Exactly.
Right. And like you said, there's LGBT people, characters in the game. So
if they just play
saying that Hogwarts Legacy is a transphobic game just because the creator of the whole fucking
universe
world is a transphobe doesn't. I mean, they're like, look, all those people that were making the game in the development studio, they're not J.K. Rowling.
Nope.
And I'm sure that none of them agreed with J.K. Rowling's fucking take on trans people. And they probably put trans and gay people in the game, as a way of not trying to shoehorn diversity into the game, but just as a way to say, hey, look, we don't agree with her, and we think these people's existence is valid.
Yeah, and the way they have it in there, it's not like it's thrown down your throat either, like pointing it out, like, haha, look, we included them. It's a side thing, like, you go to the Three Broomsticks and the bar person there, the bar lady, has got like a guyish voice. I'm like, did they mess up the voice, or is this, you don't really know. You're like, is that a trans person?
Right.
And then later on, you get more story, and she mentions that when she first came to Hogsmeade, the elves couldn't decipher if she was a witch or a wizard, and she talks about it, and I'm like, oh. I was like, that's a way to do it, man. That was smart.
And that's character creation, right?
Yes.
It's a backstory.
You've already done multiple missions and talked to this person multiple times, so you built that rapport with them already.
Right. And then they let you in on, their story. Yeah. I mean, and it's been, and we've seen this in media so much.
Yes.
For like the longest time. I mean, you have, look at Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
Like, fucking, that was like, that's a cult classic, dealing with transvestitism and all that.
But now they like force it into every aspect of it to where it's
or like that that character that Walton Goggins played in Sons of Anarchy, the trans character that
Tig like falls in love with.
That was a great character.
Yeah.
And that character was very respectfully played. That character was
dramatic, right? It wasn't there for
very well spoken, right?
I fucking love Tig.
Yeah,
he couldn't quit. That was a full on Brokeback Mountain. He's like, I can't quit you.
Fuck it, right? Like, it's.
Hey, love is love, man.
They're being, they're being true to the characters. They're being true to themselves. Tig was always a wild man, anyway.
Yeah,
he was always kind of a fucking loose cannon. And no, like the way they treated that character in the show, was very respectful, very dignified, and it mattered, right?
Yep.
It mattered to see that kind of character get that sort of treatment in a dramatic show like that.
Yeah, and you've got others, Orange is the New Black, infamous. Right. I can't remember her name, but real famous about it, and it's just people need to get over the stereotype, I guess, of, or maybe not stereotype's the right word, but get over their own,
biases.
Yeah, and just like, dude, they're people, they're actors.
It's people, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Did you see that giant 5-foot orb that showed up off the coast of Japan?
I saw the meme
of the Dragon Ball, the Saiyan pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they. I haven't seen anything yet where they've announced what it was.
I haven't read anything about it. I'd seen the meme scrolling through my timeline this morning.
I keep looking, and they haven't announced what it was or what it is. It's just a giant 5 foot in diameter sphere, that looks like a Saiyan space pod that washed up on shore. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got?
Let's hope it's real. Just destroy all of humanity. We fucking do it.
We deserve it.
We're so fucking shitty to each other. We just end it.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is set to release this year.
Spider-Man 2, hell yeah.
I've been playing. Well, I have to go back and restart the first one because for some reason my cloud save on Steam is gone. So like all the time I put into finding all the hidden stuff is now like I have to redo. Oh damn! And I've got Miles Morales, which I was going to play after I beat the first one, leading into the second game. But anyway, the second game comes out this fall, and then next fall is the expected Wolverine game.
Ooh, yeah.
Hard mature rating on this one too.
Hopefully, it's as good as the X-Men Origins Wolverine game.
Oh, this one's
that shit was fucking awesome. Like I only played the demo, but
yeah,
fuck, dude, running around as Wolverine.
Yeah, that was cool.
Eviscerating, just tearing shit up. Like
that was a surprise hit game too, because that people were pretty surprised on that one. But no, this one is, they said right off the bat, it's going to be a hard M rating on this. Like, you're going to be chopping off limbs and shit as Wolverine.
Good.
Yeah. Let's see. Spielberg got his Golden Bear Award in Europe the other day. And he mentioned several times about how horror movies have, is how he got to start with Jaws and Duel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said that maybe it's time. I'm not ready to quit yet. He says I got this lifetime award, but it doesn't feel like a lifetime. I still got plenty more to do. He's like, I got lots to do, and he's like, I'm not done scaring you guys yet. It may be time I go back to horror. So we might get an actual like Spielberg horror movie. Let's see. We've got March 24th. Is Yellow Jackets season 2? I don't know. Did you watch the first season?
I didn't watch the first season.
Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Julia
Lewis.
I fuck that name up every time I say it.
Richard Dreyfuss's daughter. Yeah.
Juliette Lewis. There you go.
Oh, Juliette Lewis. Okay.
Dreyfus. Yeah, that one. The one from Natural Born Killers.
Oh no, she's not a Dreyfus. No, yeah, that's just Juliette Lewis.
I thought she was Dreyfus.
Near.
Which one am I fucking confusing?
You're thinking of Elaine from Seinfeld.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. I got the names wrong. Hey, Jen's yelling at me in the background. She's like, "You idiot!" It's Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes, her. Christina Ricci. So the first season was good, man. It's about the plane, a soccer team, plane crashes in the mountains. They do what they got to do to survive, like a year or whatever. Yeah, they end up like Lord of the Flies, like forming tribes and hunting each other and eating and shit.
Dude, if I ever get fucking lost in the woods, like 5 minutes away from civilization, like I'm going to be resorting to cannibalism like almost immediately.
Give me your tippy toes.
Babies taste the best, right? That's what we learned from Snowpiercer.
Yeah. So the first season was really good. Season 2 is about to drop, which I'm excited for. I'm excited.
Are they still stranded in the wilderness?
Well, no. So
or is it like Lost, where they're like fucking on an island that's like 20 minutes away from actual civilization, but they don't know it?
Well, they can't see it because it's got that weird, like, clear orb
It's
around
always
it.
moving.
Yeah.
It's always moving throughout fucking time and space.
Yeah. The
J.J. Abrams, dude.
the the show takes place while they're kids on the island and as adults in life, which is like Christina Ricci's the older version of the kid that's in there. Juliette Lewis is a version of a kid that was in there. So you see like what's going on in their lives now. There's like a mystery of that and what happened back then. I'm excited because March 24th is when that comes out, and I think like that weekend or the weekend after that's MegaCon up in Orlando, and I'm actually going to be meeting Christina Ricci. I bought a ticket to go meet her and get an autograph and stuff. So add it to my wall. You guys can't see the wall, but I got a giant wall of. Let's see if I can show you.
Hey,
can't see that one.
Nope. Yeah, I can't show the Shannon Elizabeth.
But yeah. So yeah, Yellow Jacket's a really good show. It's HBO Showtime, I think. I think it's Showtime.
Okay.
We are getting more Hobbitses. I know we were talking about those 6-hour cuts. And it's not Peter Jackson this time, as far as I know, because Peter Jackson said he's looking forward to discussing and talking with whoever's making the new Lord of the Rings movies.
Okay.
Kind of getting their insight and stuff. So I'll be curious to see that, to hear what they're going to do with all of that. So we're getting some more Hobbitses.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, man, they're going after what makes them money, because they're also talking about continuing Harry Potter, more Harry Potter stuff with the Legacy cast back, and they said Rupert said he'd come back, which was Ron, and then you have
Ron Weasley, yeah.
What's her name?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. There you go. She said she'd be back as long as J.K. Rowling's not involved.
Yeah, I get that.
Which J.K. Rowling wrote the script for the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, okay, like, say what you want about her fucking political opinions, her personal opinions, all that stuff. Still a great writer.
Yes.
You know?
She built this magical world, which, let's not forget, she's the one who said originally that Dumbledore was gay.
Yeah.
So, so we're going to be getting more, and they might do The Cursed Child, which is the sequel to, or the, 30 years later with Harry's kid. Because they're now the age in real life that they are in the story, which is 25 years later, or 20 years later. So, I'm down. Let's get some more. I have a feeling they'll probably do better than the Fantastic Beasts because they're on the teeth of the Harry Potter money.
Yeah, eat milk in that Wizarding World teeth. I mean, as long as they're good, as long as they're written well, and the cinematography is great, and all
I
that
think
stuff.
that's the problem that Fantastic Beasts had is one, they went really dark with them, right? And then it didn't help the recasting. I mean, I love Mads Mikkelsen, but Johnny Depp's version of the character was way better.
Yeah.
But you have the Fantastic Beasts did not bring the magic, not that kind of magic, but the magic of the Harry Potter world. It felt too real. Let's put it that way. It felt too real. It didn't have that charm and allure that the kids version does.
Yeah.
We're getting more Harry Potter. We're getting more Hellboy. Here's another one that the gatekeepers pissed me off on. So we're getting a reboot again.
Another one.
Yeah. Reboot of Hellboy. It's going to be hard R, which it needs to be. The director is, what was his name? Brian Taylor. He did the Spirit of Vengeance, Ghost Rider 2 movie, and Crank. That fucking crazy movie. Jason Statham. But yeah, so we're getting a help.
I mean, I loved Crank for what it was.
Oh, dude.
It's a
fucking
fantastic
crazy movie.
High octane.
That part where he's like banging what's her face like out in the front of the
school children and shit.
So yeah, Hellboy is one of those franchises that is going to be tough because the last one was really good. The one with David Harbour, like that was a legit comic book movie, man. That was
the one on ABC. Yeah,
oh, dude, such a good movie. It had Mila Jovovich in it. It had David Harbour. I mean, it had the horror elements. It was real scary. So it was badass. Honestly.
Okay, so I'm looking at it on IMDb right now. It's Hellboy: The Crooked Man.
Yeah.
That's
the working title of the new one. So it sucks because that last one was really good. Like people didn't give it a chance because they're like, it's not Ron Perlman, it's not Guillermo del Toro. We're not doing it. Nobody go see this movie. It's not Guillermo. It's not Ron. We're not. Give
them a chance. Give them a chance.
They gave no chance, and now that it's on demand and people are watching it and on video, I talk to people all the time at Comic Cons. I'm like, oh man,
they're realizing that it's actually.
We'll talk about it. Like, did you watch that Hellboy movie? They're like, yeah, I didn't go see it in theaters, but someone told me about it that it was good, and I went and watched it, and I liked it. I'm like, man, like,
thanks.
Yeah, we could have got more. Because it sounds like this reboot is going to be similar to what that last movie was. They had that crazy fucking witch that was like bending backwards and shit. And
yeah,
I mean, you have to watch that movie, dude. It's on Vudu. Like, watch that movie. It's good. It's really good. He does a good job, and he thought that movie was going to ruin his career because nobody went to the movies to go see it.
David Harbour is still a great actor. I mean,
Yes, now he's recovered from it, but he was afraid. He was afraid that was going to end his career.
Violent Night helped a lot.
Yes, it did. I'm sure he was afraid to do that too.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But no, like that just helped him out immensely.
Hell yeah.
People are willing to go watch. We've been watching Dexter: New Blood.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Like series thing. Yeah, so far I think we're about halfway through it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went through that show, and I liked it. I'm glad that it brought back the original writers and stuff and team from the first few seasons and all that, and it felt good to come back to that character, but you can tell that he's well. I don't want to say anything, so I'll wait until you finish it. But you can tell the time gap of how he was before, and it was kind of near the end of the last seasons of Dexter. He was kind of getting sloppy, right? Because technology was advancing further than he could keep up, and
Well, yeah, I mean, I've already gotten to the part where he kills that guy, and he's like trying to fucking cover the whole thing up and everything.
Okay.
Or, really sloppy with that crime. Like I said, we're about like halfway through, we're still on that, like where he's trying to figure out where to fucking dispose of this fucking body while all these cops and everything's like in his fucking backyard.
Standing right next to it.
Yeah, in the fire pit there. So yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I really liked. I was glad that it had what's his face, Clancy Brown is in it.
Oh yeah. The guy that plays the douchebag's dad. Yeah.
Yeah, Clancy Brown, man. If you guys don't know, like he's Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob, and he does voice work. Like
he's like he has a very distinctive voice.
He does voice work.
Also just love his fucking character in fucking
Starship Troopers. Put your hand on that wall.
Drill instructor.
You can't push a button to launch a nuke. If you can't, use your hand. Yeah, he's been in a shitload of stuff. He was in that Earth 2 TV show too, which was really cool.
Yeah, he's a great character actor. He's another one of those character actors.
Mostly known for his voice work, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a cool show. I liked it. I was glad. They're talking about another spinoff, which once you get through that, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Last thing I got is this Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard shit is getting dirty. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the newest things over the last couple of days. I
haven't read any new things about it.
So, Microsoft is going out there and getting all these other companies to sign agreements to prove that they're not going to take Call of Duty and the other games away from people. Right? Microsoft's at this point where they don't really care about the consoles anymore. They want to get their games on as many platforms as possible. In as many hands as possible. And so what they did is they signed a 10-year deal with Nintendo to bring Xbox. They didn't state Call of Duty. They did say Call of Duty, but they didn't state Activision or Blizzard. They said Xbox games. Once this deal goes through for 10 years, you'll be able to play them on Nintendo, which means, are they going to add Game Pass to Nintendo Switch, right? To stream games? That'd be perfect.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
They also signed with NVIDIA Go, NVIDIA Now, NVIDIA, whatever their streaming service is. Same thing, a 10-year deal with them too. So all these companies now are signing these deals that they offered Sony, and Sony said no. And at this press conference, he's holding the papers in the air, and he takes them out of the envelope. He goes, "This is the paperwork right here, Sony. All you gotta do is come in, sign this, and we're good to go."
Sony, like Japan, wants to be an island.
So yeah, Sony said no, and is still complaining. And here's where the shit got dirty. So Microsoft went back and they're like countersuing or counter clause or whatever to the European Commission and to the FCA here. What they stated in their thing, it's heavily redacted, but the parts that we could see was the Europeans' reasoning for not allowing this to go through was because, they keep bringing up Call of Duty, and they said we've clearly shown that we are not going to take Call of Duty from anyone. We've actually signed these deals that will allow it to go to another 150 million more players than was before. That means we're making it more accessible. Why would we make it less accessible? So we found out two things. One, Sony has been paying less to get Call of Duty on PS5 on the PlayStation systems for years.
Well, because they're a major.
They have the exclusive stuff.
You can't. You can't get a game to be successful without Sony, without it being on the PlayStation.
Well, Sony's the largest in the world when it comes to that. So, so we found out that they've been getting a deal on the backside from Activision for the games, cheaper than everyone else. Two, the dialogue that was used from the European Commission for
the antitrust thing.
Yeah, it's a competition.
Anti-monopoly.
The commission, competition commission. They used the exact quotes and mentioned Sony in their quotes 66 times in their reasoning as to why they don't think that this should go through. And Microsoft says, why are you mentioning them 66 times in this? Sony is not the only player out there, And so then Microsoft got to go up and they had like 15 minutes to present their case to the European, right? That's how long the lawyers had. 15 minutes to go up in front of the board, say what they have to say, answer their questions, rebuttals, and all that stuff. Sony got 30 minutes. They gave them double the time. So Microsoft's pissed. They're playing dirty now. They're like, or they're not playing dirty. Now they're bringing out the, swinging the big dick. They're pulling out all the stops. They're saying, all right, if that's what you're going to do, that's how you're going to play, then here's what we want. Sony, you keep saying that this is going to interfere with your games, your sales, your system, your numbers, even though you're like number one by like miles when it comes to software sales. Now, if you're going to keep telling people this, you have to present the documents, and they sent off official legal documents. But if Sony does this, it's going to reveal a lot of stuff that Sony's doing on the backside with their software sales.
Yeah.
All of their exclusivity, what they're paying for games, what they're doing for all this stuff. So,
well, that's gonna piss off a lot of other like us Xbox players, right? And
well, not even players, but other companies, other studios.
Yeah, other developers. Yeah.
I mean, how would you feel like if you're an internal studio like Insomniac or something that Sony bought, or Destiny, right? Because what Sony doesn't want, here's the biggest thing. They don't want Call of Duty on Game Pass. That's what they're trying to stop.
Right.
They do not want it on Game Pass. Because when Sony bought Destiny, they pulled it like that day off of Game Pass. Like all those things had to leave. They don't want it on a competing streaming software where more people are obliged to go pick up any mobile device.
For the subscription fee for a competitor instead of having
exactly. Which all Sony has to do really is just allow the Game Pass app on their PlayStation.
Right.
And people will continue to buy.
Have Microsoft pay like a licensing fee and all that stuff to be on their hardware.
Yeah. I mean, people can keep buying the PlayStation and then still play the Xbox games. Because that's what Microsoft's turning into. They're turning into a software. They're all about pushing their games onto people. Hey, you want to play a certain type of game? We have that game. Join our Game Pass. So think about like being like Insomniac or one of these bigger studios that, and you start, all these deals start coming out that you're noticing that Sony's been making with all these other studios and all this other stuff, or cuts and stuff that they've been getting, for exclusive things. And I mean, it's not going to look good. And right now Sony's got egg all over their face. So it's getting pretty nasty, this little battle here, but it should be coming to a head soon. I mean, even the gaming, like the largest gaming union in Europe is siding with Microsoft.
Nice.
They went and presented as well. They're like, just let it go through. They're like, this is the best because we know what kind of environment Activision Blizzard is. All the toxicity that's been going on for so long over there and all the legal issues and all that. They're like, allow them to come in and fix this and take that over. So, anyway, that was all I've got for this week.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, that's it for me.
I am Glow in the Dark Gigan and
noise. All right, then. Ooh, Gojira. Yeah, get it, girl. Yeah, oh yeah. Back to monster talk.
Oh, yeah. We got the vinyl Sofubis that just naughty. Oh, hello, Lydia. Put her cold nose on my leg. Zoinks. Zoinkies. Anyway, I'm Nickzilla.
I'm Mark Becker. This has been another episode of Pop Culture Kicks.
Pop Culture Kicks. Thank you, and Keith.
Figure your shit out.
Figure your shit out, boy. All right. Later.
Peace.
Mark, quit playing with your Game Boy self.
I don't know how to put this, but
The greatest trick
I'm kind of a big deal.
the devil ever pulled
Really?
was convincing the world.
People know me.
In the name of God, now I know what it feels like to be God.
Jesus wept.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Listen, kid. There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
How dare you say that to my face?
Well, I'd say it behind your back, but my car's only got half a tank again.